Happy Thursday! Thank you for joining me here tonight. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make lovely and quirky hand embroidery kits. And I'm here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. That's 9:30 Eastern and 6:30 Pacific. It's a time that we can relax and craft together. And I work on a project from beginning to end, so you can be part of the whole process along the way and just come and chit chat. All right, you guys, we are continuing on the Splendid Sampler 2 quilt along. I kind of took a little break from making our blocks, and I'm working on getting all the little futzy bits done. So I'm getting all the sashing pieces cut, I'm getting all the backing pieces cut, and now I just need the batting pieces cut. And we're doing quilt as you go, so I'll show you that a little bit with how far we are now. But we got our diagram for the past couple days, which looks crazy, but we've actually cut everything from it, and all we need now is 18, about 14-inch squares of batting. And then we are done, we are fully prepped, and I can get rid of all the stuff on the sidelines so I don't have so much sitting around in my small little space here. So awesome, I'm excited, you guys. Let's flip you around and get started here. Okay, batting. So, like I said, we are doing the quilt as you go process. Let me just grab one of the bits that we have done. So, for example, I've been sewing my blocks into sets of 4 like this, and they have little sashing, which is those kind of borders on the inside of blocks, and then a little cornerstone or little square right in between those sashings. So I've been making these as we kind of work on the project, but we're doing the quilt as you go process, which means that once I have my 4, I'm actually making the back, I'm cutting the back, and I'm putting batting in between already and quilting just this. So I'm quilting not the entire quilt, I'm quilting as I go. So I'm quilting in these kind of, I think they're about 13-inch squares, which is awesome because I can play around a little bit more. I don't have a huge quilt that I'm dealing with. And then once we have those, a 13-inch square like this quilted, or a couple of them, so here I have 2, I can attach them with some more sashing. So it is attached on the front of the 2 pieces with this little sashing with another cornerstone and another piece of sashing. So like one strip, basically. You can see that there's no quilting in there. That's because it's the one that I'm attaching with. And then on the back, we have almost like a binding strip. So another kind of like the front, but we sew it on when we do the front, and then I hand stitch the edge down. And it looks like this one we actually machine stitched down. So we were probably trying that out. And I think that looks fine. So that's how we're connecting the blocks, and we'll go over that again. I got a long way to go on this quilt, and we're doing it all here, so I'll definitely go through this process again. But that's the general picture, right? We are quilting the blocks of 4 as we go with our back pieces and the batting, and we cut out everything that we need over the past 2 days. So here are all the cornerstones I need, all the little white sashing strips, all the little back binding strips, and then all the backing. These are folded up, but these are our back pieces, the parts that will go, these pieces right here. And I actually had enough fabric. I was worried. There's kind of a thing in the back of my brain that, I'm not gonna have enough fabric, what am I gonna do for that? And I ended up having enough, so that's one thing I don't have to worry about anymore. So one thing I've been trying to do is use up scraps, use up fabric, just use up things in general for this. And so I had some different batting that I threw all my batting in a huge bin, and I pulled it all out for this project. I've been typically using this warm and natural. This is a cotton batting. Yeah, this is just a really nice soft cotton batting. It's kind of thin. So here's what it's like, the thinness, and it drapes really well. It's just really nice. So I actually did for this project order batting. So I have been using this, but lately we've been experimenting with some other battings I know there's a few blocks that I've made for this quilt as you go that are, some are different size battings. Like I know for, so we've been doing mostly the warm and natural. So this is like the warm and natural right here. It's pretty thin, but I know this is another block that we've done. I know, oh, like here we've used a poofier fabric, and the reason for that is just to give it a try. So all of our shapes kind of poof up a little bit more. So I did kind of bigger shapes on this one so we could see that poofiness a little bit more than this warm and natural. So we've been just experimenting because I don't do too much stuff with, or I don't think about batting all that much. And so I thought this was a nice opportunity to play around. So we do have a little bit of that, this must be some sort of polyester batting. We still have some of this left, so I'm gonna cut these. I think we sewed a double thickness for that actually. So maybe we'll cut a few extras of all of this just in case we want to do some double battings, because that's kind of neat how thick it is. All right, so we'll cut up the rest of this because this is just scrap. I don't really know what I'm going to be able to get out of this. And then I have this little, I showed this once before, but I got at a show, I got this little thing of samples. I thought maybe we'd cut these up as well. So I'm going to just pull these out. I know some I don't want to use because, like this, for example, this is like insulated. This is for making like stuff that can be in the microwave. So I'm going to just take some of that out. Yeah, Insul Bright. Yeah, this is for making like hot pad holders and stuff, I think so. I don't want to use that in my quilt, but this is a big bit of poof. I think we will use this. Just kind of make my pile. Okay, so here's some warm and natural right here. So this is pretty similar. This is the unbleached kind, yeah, and versus the bleached, which is that big piece that I did. So we should be able to get like one chop out of here, I think. Oh, it's probably just big enough. Oh, perfect. These samples are going to be great. Okay, so we'll use that. Okay, so this is meant for microwave projects. So one of those potato warmer things. I think all this is just a little thicker. I think maybe I'll save that too because it has like a custom idea for that. So I'll set that one aside. Soft and bright. So this is needled polyester batting. I think we can use this. So this is just a polyester batting. That's kind of the same thickness as the warm and natural. Oh, these are going to be so easy to cut. Oh, good. Another thing off the list, I've had this bag for so long. This just seems, okay, warm and white. So this just seems like a bleached cotton, I'm guessing. Nothing special about that, so we'll use that. Okay, now this is half cotton, 50% cotton, 50% polyester. We're going to use all of these. We're going to use them up. Thermally bonded cotton batting. Okay, so this is a little different. This has been, we'll use it anyway. This has been not needle punched. This one probably has something on the back that holds it together. Instead of using a non-woven scrim or glue, we've mixed low melt polyester fiber together with natural cotton fibers, and they've heated it. Oh, well, that's interesting. So heat is what's holding this together. Feels kind of nice. All right, and then we have our just big piece of warm and natural. So I'll save this if we can, just because I want to use up all of these other things. I don't want them around anymore. I want all the scraps of everything gone. So I'm going to actually set this aside for now. We'll use that at the end because, you know, I could use that for another quilt too, in theory. I mean, we're just playing around with this. All right, you know what? And I think I can layer a few of these together. So I'll just layer like 2 at a time. So these don't have to be perfect. And, you know, I'm not even labeling what's what. I'm just going to use a variety of battings and just, I'm more interested in using up stuff. So I need this to be, I said about 14 inches, but you know what? I think I have a 3-inch ruler here, and I have oh, this is an 11. Okay, this is a 12-inch. I thought this was a 10-inch ruler. I thought I could do 2 at once, but nope. We'll have 11, 12, 13, 14. We'll have like 14 and a half here, and that's a little bit big. I wanted a slightly smaller than my backing piece, which is 14 inches, and slightly just a little bit bigger than my backing piece, which is 13. So you know what? I was going to use a square and all that, but I think I'm just going to lay this out like how we've been doing the other 2 nights. I'm going to just use my mat as my ruler. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to give this a nice edge, which isn't actually all that important either. I mean, these will be moved around and manipulated and all that once we're doing the quilt as you go. But it doesn't hurt that they start out kind of nice. So we'll cut them okay. Okay, so I want it about, I don't know, kind of like a 13 and a half inches, right? That probably sounds good because I think the squares are 13. Maybe I'll get a little closer to 14 inches just in case my squares spread a little bit when I stitch. So I'm going to do like 13 and 3/4 here. You know, if I cut all the way to the top, then I'm kind of wasting. I don't think we're wasting anything. I'm going to keep it like this. I was thinking, oh, I could cut it square and then I'd have this piece here, but it might be just easier to have a bunch of strips of fabric than these weird, you know, L-shaped pieces of fabric. So I am just going to snip up and then we'll rotate and do the sides. I think that's a plan. All right, so I'm at 13 3/4. This is crazy, but I do have to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 3/4. The first, I don't know. For some reason I don't trust my mat. So stupid. All right. So I have this extra. I can use these for some smaller projects, so that'll be kind of fun. I'm condensing my fabric. Okay, so I'm just rotating this. I think again I'm going to just shimmy it over a little bit. I suppose it doesn't matter. I just want to make sure that they're kind of a weird shape, and I want to make sure that I have enough underneath. So I'm just going to trim here. So I only need 18 of these, so I got to keep track too. If we have a few extra, then I could layer it maybe. Layer some later. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 3/4. That looks pretty square. All right, whew, did it. Okay, for some reason I feel the need to just check this with one of my actual pieces here. Like a crazy person who doesn't trust math. But here, let's grab this guy. So here's one of my 4-piece ones. All right, good. So, I mean, it's cutting it a little bit close, but actually that's probably all we need. So I'm glad I didn't do 13 and a half. This one I kept a little bit big. I think both of these I kept a little bit larger, so they will actually get trimmed a little bit, so we have more leeway than we think, but this is good. I don't want to go any less than this because I want enough batting to be as big as this piece here. Yeah, 14 maybe would have been a little bit better, but I think we'll stick with the 13 3/4. So all right, that was our test. I think we're good. All right, 2. Got 2 done here. Where should I set those? Send them on my chair. All right, let's grab 2 more. Oh, I'm gonna have so many cute little scraps when I'm done here. I'm gonna rotate my mat again. Get the long edge here. Ooh, this one's soft. Oh, I think this is the polyester blend. Or full polyester, potentially, this one. Try and kind of get them lined up a little bit. So this quilt is just going to have all sorts of different batting in, which will be kind of goofy, you know, not what you typically do for a quilt, but I like using stuff up. And if there's different textures and if one shrinks faster than the other, I'm not really going to care that much. I don't think any of this, you know, you want to in theory use the same batting because it will shrink at the same rate, right? So different battings might just have different, ooh, it's cutting weird, might just have different aspects that are different from each other. You usually want to keep that all together so your quilt stays intact. I mean, it's not going to fall apart or anything, but I don't think any of this stuff is going to really shrink up at a completely crazy different rate than anything else. So if I have one square that's kind of a little poofier or a little goofy, I'm okay with that. I think that's kind of fun. It will be fine. This is a learning quilt for me anyway, right? I mean, we're learning how to do all of these different techniques, or it's a practice quilt. I'm practicing all these different techniques, and I'm trying to get better at quilting at free motion quilting. I'm trying to get better at free motion quilting, and so you can tell. I mean, you can tell that I'm learning still. But that's the point. That's, you know, so who cares if I blend together different battings? If I want to make a super fancy quilt that's meant to be super fancy for some reason, I will use all the same stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 3/4. Right, that's right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 3/4. Had to double check. Okay, so that's 4. Get all these little goody scraps. Ugh, feels good that I'm going to have all these figured out. Pretty one. Ooh, and then I think we might be to our big poofies. The poofy ones I'm going to do one at a time. So this one's just like the warm and natural that I'm using, except for it's the unbleached version. Mine is the white version. So I've heard that people, I mean, in theory I like unbleached stuff. I think that's kind of pretty. But I've heard that people like the bleached, which is the white, the pure white. They like that kind because sometimes you can see like these little natural flecks and seeds and stuff that are in here. I have heard that, you know, some of the natural elements, like you could kind of pick out like a little organic, like a seed or something every once in a while, that can react with fabric over the years, and then you can see like a little, I don't know, patina on the front where that would be. So I guess that's reason enough that I like the white, but also with the white, it looks good with white fabric, and I'm using a lot of white fabric in mine. All right, 13 3/4. And if I was going to buy a whole queen-sized or king-size amount of it, which I think is what I did, I'm going to pick that a little bit more carefully. So I'm happy with the the bleached warm and natural so far. I mean, I haven't washed it or anything like that yet, but again, this is just kind of a pile of stuff together for this quilt. It's an experiment. Just guessing at 13 and a half now. That looks, or 13 and 3/4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 and 3/4. Using my eyeballs, but I still gotta count it out. All right, that's 5. All right, and I think that was all from my samples. And look, I just have this cute little bundle left, so this will be just way store easier than that big bag of stuff that I had. So that's nice, tiny little stack left. All right, now I gotta deal with this poofy stuff. That's gonna be a little more of a hassle, I think. Okay, this is not big enough to get 2 yet for sure. Wow, this is poofy. Is this one piece? Yeah, this is one fluffy piece. This is almost like a double layer of that other stuff that I've been using. So this is just a huge, fat, chunky piece. All right, let's make this all nice. Using it up. Sure, I could use this for another project where I need something poofy, but why not have this be that project? If I on purpose do something poofy, I can always get more poofy. So fluffy. And I have this nice big chunk here left. Fluff. Okay. I'm going to let that straightened over here be fine and just trim over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 and 3/4. So poofy. Great, so that is 6, I believe. So we're a third of the way there. Great, so I'm happy. I got all of that bag of samples cut up, so that's awesome. I don't have that anymore. I'm making a huge pile of batting scraps over here. And then I have, this is that random chunk that I had. So this is a really awkward, it's a couple pieces here too. This is kind of an awkward shape. You can probably get 2 cuts out of this. Let's see, is this even 13.5 inches? Yeah, it's good. Ooh, crazy though. Maybe I can fold it and get 2. Well, it wants to stick, doesn't it? Yeah, this is about as thin as the warm and natural. It's just definitely a different substance. Like it's a polyester blend for sure. But actually, I think this is what we used to use, or I used to use in quilts a lot. I forget who makes it though. All right, I think we are able to get 2 out of here, so that's good. A little over the edge here. I'm going to actually just trim this chunk off. Get it out of my hair. Nice little piece. I think this was meant for to be a lighter weight quilt, but be still pretty warm. This batting, if I remember. So the other thing with batting that I haven't really focused on is some has to be quilted closer together than others so that it doesn't shift when it's washed. And cotton, I think, typically has to be quilted a little closer. But that's good for my project here because I am quilting it pretty densely. Like some other battings, you could have, you know, you're stitching like 8 inches apart and it would still hold together. I don't think cotton does that as well as this polyester, although I'm not positive on that. Oop, slid a little bit, but that's okay. It's so poofy that it's hard to push down. So that's another difference of battings. But again, in my case, it does not really matter. So this is, I was definitely doubling this stuff up earlier. I think I did one where I doubled it, and then one where I just did it a single layer. So maybe I'll cut a couple extra later in case I want to layer this. Okay. I think that's one too many. That looks square. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 3/4. Okay, that was 6 earlier, so this is 7 and 8. We're gonna have a crazy batting stack after this. All right, but I'm happy I'm using this up. This has just been a pile of fluff sitting in the corner, and it's just been, obviously I keep talking about it. It's been all this stuff has been driving me crazy. I need it processed. That's what we're doing right now, processing it. Ugh, now this is an awkward shape. So I don't think I'm gonna get 2 out of here. No. Is this 2 layers? No. I wonder this way if I get 2. Do we have enough for 13? Oh, we do. Great. So we can get a few out of here. I think what I'm going to do first is move this one way again. I'm going to just trim these edges so they're the same. Get a 13-inch cut out of 13 3/4 cut out of here, and then we'll deal with this other phalange over here. All right, I think we're good. Oh, it feels good converting this into something else other than fluff. Sometimes you just need to clean up your area, you know? That's what I feel like I'm doing here. Oh, I flipped this the wrong way, so I gotta count. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 3/4. All right, so here's a layer of 2, and I think I'll probably be able to get 1 more out of there, but we'll do that separately, just because I don't think my rotary cutter will go through all that. All right, let's line this up. We'll go all the way to the edge. Goofy shape. Yep, but we have a 13 3/4. Getting her done. All right, there we go. bit of extra there. Okay, is this 10? I think this is 10. That's 2 more right there. We may have to count all these up again. So 8 more to go. So I will be cutting up that warm and natural. That's going to be a little tricky because that is a whole big giant piece, and I'm just in my little cutting world here. So that'll be interesting. I'm going to have to scoot some things around. All right, yeah, and I can just get 1 piece out of this. I'm going to actually just cut off this phalange again. It's just, there's no point in having like a weird L shape. Let's just make a rectangle. We'll end up with a couple of rectangles. You know, these would be great for making some like quilt as you go, like coasters or something. All this extra. That'd be kind of fun. Okay. Let's cut 1 out of here, and then we're good. Then it's on to the big stuff. This will be 11. Right? I think so. Farther. All right. Ooh, it cut super funny, but that's okay. As long as we have at least what we need. You, in theory, can piece together batting, but I don't know, you kind of risk it shifting in the middle, or you knowing where it goes, where that seam is. So I don't really want to sew a bunch of these scraps together for batting. There's some ways to do it, like if you squiggle your seam a little bit, then it's harder to find, but still. All right, that is all I have of the rando pieces. So now I can get the my big piece out. Let's just double check the count on this again. So here's our pile, our cute little stack so far. I think this was 11, but I'm just going to check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Some of this is thicker than other stuff. Huh. Yeah, this isn't 2 layers, but this seems awfully thin. These must have been different pieces. Huh. Well, we're using it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, this is that big one. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, we're up to 11. I'm going to scooch it out of my way here. Move this out of my way too. All right, here is the big chunk that we have left over. So this may be a little difficult. Let's see how we can do this in my little setting here. Oh, look at it all. There's so much. How is this even folded? Holy moly. Ugh. All right, well, this seems like I must have done something over here. This seems like a manageable chunk. Okay. Let's put my rulers on this side, and I am going to throw this entire chunk to the left, and here we go. I think if I double this up, oh, it's annoying cutting out big things, but this is definitely enough, I believe. Ooh, are we at some weird odd angle though? oh, here's an L. So I must have cut a big chunk out of this, and then this is what's left over of that, which is good because I can use that part up. So I'm just going to kind of fold this in half, try and flatten it out, and see how many 13 1/2 or 13 3/4 cuts I can make here. I think this is big enough that I'll be able to cross cut it just fine too. Let's just double check. I'm going to just lay one of these on top. Yeah, plenty. Okay, good. All right, I think we got it. We got it. Let's get a nice edge to start out with. We'll cross cut a bunch. All right, so that was 11. This will be 13. So this is that same as that unbleached Warm and Natural, but it's the bleached. Okay, 13 3/4. Okay, and just because this is so annoying to move, I think I'm going to just rotate this and cut it before moving on. We'll just do one side and then the other. Just because I don't want to disturb all this batting over here. Being all annoying. Okay, I'm just going to rotate that. I'm just going to rotate the piece. Put it on that. Put it on the 13 3/4 already, and then just cut the edge. There we go. That's how we're managing this giant piece. All right, and this is a cute little piece left over. There we go. All right, so that's 13. That's 2 pieces there. All right, scooch that ruler out of the way, and let's bring the next bit forward. Ugh, we're going to have to buttsmith this a little bit, looks like. This is a straight edge still, so I'm not going to cut that. Kind of straight. All right. I know it's a little goofy up here, but we're going to cross cut it anyway, so I'm not going to worry about it. $13 3/4. Okay, again, just because this is so bulky over here, I'm going to just deal with turning the fabric versus the whole ruler. Again, this is batting, so it doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to be trimming off all these edges anyway and closing it all, so I don't mind moving the batting a little bit. All right, so this is 14 and 15. So only 3 more after this. We're getting there. Then if I get 1 extra, I think that'll be good. If we keep doubling it up, then I'll have 1 extra. Feeling good though, it's feeling good. You know, just converting these giant things into smaller things, just, that's doing it. Okay, that was 15. Look how fuzzy my mat's getting, oh no! I'm gonna have to wipe it down afterwards. Yeah, look at that, so much fuzz. That's interesting. All right, so now I don't know if I had, this is where it starts getting to be a bigger chunk again. Ugh. think we can get one more out of here reasonably well. Yeah, that part goes this way. We're definitely been cutting off one of these phalanges up here. So this must have been like a king size piece. And we used it for something already, so I have a big cut out of it. And this is just kind of the remainder. So 13 3/4. Ooh, it's like right where we need it to be. Good. Perfect. All right. There we go. Now we got a big square chunk over here. Unfortunately, we need one more after this for the 18. So I have to deconstruct that giant thing a little bit just to get one square out of it. Well, let's see. No, it shouldn't. It's going to be like half that big, Carol, because it's going to be, so the squares are, the squares in the quilt are, the blocks are 6.5 inches, and I'm only doing 10 by 10, but then there's a little bit of sashing, so let's call them 7.5 inches each, so it'll be about 70-ish wide, and so it'll be like a 70-inch or so square, so in the 70s, like a small 70s quilt. So no, it's not going to be 114. These are all going to be trimmed down and everything. Yeah. So nope, not that big. All right. I need one more now. And honestly, I'm tempted, since this is probably a nice square now, I'm tempted to use this warm tater tot thing. I think it's just a thicker cotton. Okay, oh, it just hasn't been chemically treated, so you can warm up stuff in the microwave with it. That's goofy, I've never done that. Okay, hasn't been chemically treated, making it ideal for cooking potatoes, corn rolls, and warming tortillas in the microwave. Insulator keeps moisture inside. So interesting, so do you just, I don't know, has anyone ever used this for actually microwaving stuff in the microwave? I don't know. I don't think I really need a potato bag. I'm going to use this in the quilt. That might be a horrible thing to do, but I'm going to sacrifice the potatoes for having this in my quilt. Sorry, potatoes. This will just be a nice, thick piece of cotton, untreated cotton. I'll have little chunks left to I don't know, make into something yet, maybe. Sacrificing it so I don't have to cut up that big thing. The thing is, if I cut a square out of that fat or that batting that I have over here, I might be able to get a whole quilt out of this, what I have left over, and cutting a chunk out of it might make it so I can't do that. Like I have too big of a chunk there, and this is definitely big enough for me to do stuff with. I'll even keep that label with it still. Okay, we'll keep the warm and natural with it for the potatoes, just so I know. There, now I don't feel so bad. There. Instructions. Okay, let's flip this. That looks like a decent straight edge there. Now I just need the 13.5 or 13 3/4. And this is our last chunk. Our last batting. Perfect. This little guy I'll keep with the warm taters too. Okay, you guys. We have it. So here is our stack of 18. I'm not going to cut any extra, just because, like I said, I don't want to cut into that batting anymore. So here we go. It's a crazy looking pile. Like, look how different. So some of the quilt is going to be so poofy, and then other parts are going to be just thin and drapey. It's just going to be so oddball, but I think that'll be kind of part of the fun of it. It'll be like a really subtle thing that you might not even notice, right? Whew. So soft. This cotton batting, I just want to blanket out of this cotton batting. I would just do that. Just leave it as is. Leave it as a cotton blankie, just like that. All right, you guys, that is that. Here now is the complete bit of what I need for my quilt yet. So now I can just have this laying around, and I could actually put this in a bin, and now I don't have to have all these bolts of fabric laying around or any of that. We were able to empty a bolt. I have an empty bolt here, and I can now store this giant warm and natural thing. I can now store that away. I can fold it up and just store it, which would be way better than poofing up all over my my kitchen here. So, all right, you guys, I'm going to flip you around, and we are going to call it an evening. All right, you guys, it is so fuzzy in here. I just feel like I'm just on the verge of a sneeze this whole time. All this batting, but this is great. So now my project is contained. I have those finished blocks that I could just go at it now. So I feel so much better. I feel like clean, actually, now that this is all prepped and ready to go. And now we just need to make more blocks. That's really it. All we need to do is make blocks now. That's exciting. So yeah, so we'll start a new block up soon, and maybe we'll do some quilting again now that we have our stuff all prepped. We got some squares ready to go. I don't know. Maybe we'll start doing that. So awesome, you guys. Thank you again for joining me. I will be here again tomorrow. I think I have family in town, but we'll see. So I'll probably most likely be here tomorrow evening as well, and then again on Monday. So have a great evening, and I'll get this up on YouTube. Good night.